Welcome back, everyone, for today's video. Today I'm going to be going over the September Action Chess Championship games held here at Chess Zone. Now, this is just like the August Action Chess Championship games, which you can reference if you haven't watched those videos. And it's basically a 4-game tournament all in one day, time control of 60 minutes, 5-second increment. And I'm going to be posting these recaps basically all back-to-back. I didn't really have too much of a layover between games. I had maybe 10, 15 minutes to decompress, and then immediately the next game. So obviously no chance to do a recap. But tournament finished like an hour or two ago, so I'm going to do the recaps and post them on the YouTube channel shortly. And also want to preface this video by saying that this tournament did not go nearly as well as the August Action. Got one less point than in the August Action, 1.5 out of 4. So, yeah, a lot of these the recaps aren't going to be making me feel very good inside, because I was winning in basically all my games and then I threw. So you'll see for yourself. So, but I'll still make the recaps. That's what I'm committed to. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight into the action. Playing an individual named Prescott Yu, rated 1571. Don't know much about this individual, so let's go ahead and see how he played. So Prescott started the game with e4, and I played the move e5. We get the move knight f3, knight f6, knight takes e5, d6, my classic Petrov theory, and knight f3, knight e4, and Prescott goes for knight c3. This is the long castle approach. In other words, after the trade happens on c3, White is preparing to develop the queenside pieces and castle along. That's the main theme of this opening. Anyway, so after d takes c3, we're all blitzing this out. Knight c6, bishop e3, bishop g4. I trying to pin the knight to the queen. Bishop e2, bishop e7, queen d2 from Prescott, queen d7, and White long castles, and I also long castle. Here, Prescott plays the move h3, and I think about where to move the bishop. You don't really want to take in this situation, because you're just helping the white bishop get to a more active diagonal. So I ended up going bishop e6, which is best, and we both move our kings to b1 and b8 respectively. And here Prescott plays knight d4. I take it, which usually it's fine to take the knight here, but the reason that this isn't good, and I didn't really see any other way around it, I was worried about top move is bishop f6. I was worried about some sort of bishop b5 things, and this is kind of unpleasant because White's threatening to double your pawns in front of your king, so I didn't really want to be pinned, so that's why I got rid of the knight. The reason it's not good is because White can play queen takes d4 and have a fork on a7 and g7. So after you stop the checkmate threat, you would just be down a pawn. So I didn't really see any other way around it. But instead, Prescott takes with the bishop. And here I decide on how to save the pawn. Do I go bishop f6? I could also just put my rook on g8, but that looks kind of silly because my rook is kind of awkwardly placed. I ended up playing the move f6, which it's not best, but it's not terrible. And time update, Prescott has about a 5 to 6 minute time advantage at this point. So here, Prescott played the move bishop to f3, and I played the move c5. Point is that I'm trying to kick that bishop away and maybe play d5 and gain some center. So bishop basically only has one move, bishop e3. I go d5. Again, I'm trying to gain some center space. Also, my bishop on e7 wasn't really doing much. It was bad bishops, and so I'm basically giving it more scope with d5 as well. Here, Prescott plays the move bishop to f4 check. And for a long time, I was considering the move bishop d6. And I saw that Prescott could play bishop takes d5. This is very tactical over here. So obviously, I was calculating in my head that bishop takes. White can't take back. Well, I guess they could, but Oh, it's with check. That's why. Okay, I thought I could take the bishop in that situation. Bishop takes, yeah, then, or if bishop takes here, then the queen is pinning my bishop, so this is very annoying. But, yeah, even if here, I was thinking here, queen takes, and some sort of c4 things. But, yeah, Prescott wouldn't have taken the bishop here, so king a8 is what I replied with, and Prescott just brings the other rook to the center, putting pressure on the e-file. And now I play the move bishop to d6. It's also important to note that queen e3 is a threat. Like, if, let's say, I do a random move, white is just crushing with queen e3 because the bishops are skewered, essentially. So I had to prevent that that threat. So that's why I played bishop d6 in this position. Already much worse. It's because white has pressure on my center, and my pawns are going to start falling like dominoes. So after bishop d6, Prescott trades. I take with the queen, and I have this weak d5 pawn that I have to constantly guard. Currently, there are three of white's pieces attacking it, and three of my pieces defending it. In addition, c4 could c4 adds another layer of pressure on the. But I not now because I just pushed, but it's an idea in the future. So queen takes d6. Prescott plays queen e2, attacking the bishop. And here I was considering to defend my bishop with my rook, but then this failed. Apparently it's best. I saw there's bishop takes d5 again, a brilliant move, and there's some back rank tactics to be careful of. So let's say you take it. I mean, this looks really bad because you lost a rook, but Engine finds the move bishop takes a2 in this position. And let's see, if king takes, you just take the rook and take the queen after. You just take the rook, and after rook takes, you take the queen. That's what the Engine suggested. I don't know. I didn't see that. It just looks really bad, so that's why I didn't want to do that. I ended up playing the move bishop to f7, so the advantage for white has grown even more. Yeah, except Prescott throws his advantage entirely by playing the move queen to b5. And I actually thought this was a clever move because he's threatening my pawn on d5 is pinned in a different way. If it ever moved, the queen would take on b7 with checkmate. So, and also c4 is a threat to keep adding pressure on the d5 pawn. So that's why I thought queen b5 was a really good move. Anyway, I played queen c7 here, and that's basically stopping the threat, defending the c pawn, and also c4 isn't really a big deal anymore. So after queen c7, Prescott played the move b3, giving his king some luft, and I played the move bishop to e8 to attack the queen and shoo it away. And at this point, Prescott has 27 minutes, and I have 24 minutes. So we both have used over half our time, and the position is still very not simplified. There's still a lot of complications to be aware of. And Prescott moved back to e2 with the queen, and my idea was go bishop d8, bishop c6, and I thought my pawn was well defended with the bishop placed there. Except the move queen e7 comes, and this is a very annoying move because, number one, it threatens three things. It threatens queen g7, queen takes c5, and queen takes c7 if I I move my queen or don't do anything. And also, if I were to take the queen like this, which is apparently, then the white's rook is super aggressive on the 7th rank, and I would have to go like rook g8 here, and white would just bring the other rook over sometime. And I'm very passive in this position. I did not want to go into this. So after queen e7, very good find by Prescott. I try for counterplay. I go queen a5. I'm like, hey, I'm defending my c pawn. You can grab the g7 pawn if you please, but I'm going to at least grab your c3 pawn, which is in front of your king. So I get that I'm worse, but I'm getting something. I'm getting something out of it, if that makes sense. But the Engine's like, okay, queen, you're plus 2.8 for white. Like, there's no hope for black. Anyway, so yeah, Prescott did take on g7. I took on c3. And here Prescott played the move rook e3. And this is the point where I started to realize that my position is actually pretty bad. Because after I moved my queen to a5, Prescott grabbed the pawn on f6. Sure, it drops some of the advantage, but White's up a pawn here, and their position is just way better. So queen c7, I didn't really know what to do here. Rook e7 comes, and that is the white rook is joining the 7th rank. Queen g7 could be a thing where it forms from another 7th rank battery. So after rook e7, I play queen b6, rook d to e1, and I try a5. This is very, I realized that I blundered at some point, rook e6, bishop takes d5. I realized that I blundered that, because I can't take with the bishop due to the a-pawn not defending the queen anymore, and if I take with the rook, I hang my rook on h8. I saw that, and I was pretty scared that he would play it, but he didn't play it, thankfully. I was just trying to undermine the b3 pawn in front of White's king. So after a5, rook 1 to e6, I play rook h to f8 to attack the queen. Prescott moved his queen to e5. I play queen b5. The reason I did that is I'm trying to look at a check on f1, potentially maybe grab the f2 pawn and get my pawn back, some sort of hope. Prescott took on h7, so he's now up 2 pawns, and I go with a4. I'm trying to create some sort of attack. And here we're both very low on time. Prescott got a little spooked. He moved his king, and he has 9 minutes in this position. And I played the move c4, having 10 minutes. I'm desperately trying to create some sort, make him scared in some way. And actually here, when he brought his other rook to e7, it's now a drawn endgame, a drawn position, only a 0.6 advantage. Engine said I just had to trade the pawns in front of White's king and just go and say, hey, you're up 2 pawns, but your king's pretty weak, and you can go at queen c5 and threaten to take on f2, and White would have to defend their weaknesses, despite being up 2 pawns. But I thought my pawns were better on the board because they were. I could potentially push them to a3 and c3. Maybe think of some sort of back rank ideas, which actually will happen later in the game. So anyway, after rook e to e7, I play the move queen c5. Not a terrible move. And after rook e to f7, you guys probably saw the eval just swing in my favor. And this is the start of the throwing of this that happened at this tournament, where this is one of the games where I have a totally winning position and I proceed to blunder it. So, how exactly do I throw this position? Well, you can't blame me. I don't have the eval in front of me, so, but I had a feeling that I had counterplay. I didn't know it was this good though. So I played the move c3 check, which is best. And okay, I'm invading on the dark squares, right? The thing is, I'm trying to be a little tricky. Oh no, my pawn, you lose your queen to a3 check. So that was why I wanted to keep the pawns there. So Prescott moved his king to b1. And now the engine says to take the rook. And I didn't really want to trade here. But the thing is that after the move rook e8, black is totally winning due to the threat on the queen and not being able to guard the back rank. Anyway, going back, I played rook e8 instead, and White has to play rook e7 and not lose a bunch of material. And engine here just said to take the rook, same idea. If the queen takes, I rejected this because I'm like, okay, I have to trade queens here because I don't really want to go queen b6, but I can give my queen up anyway. Rook to e8, brilliant move. And it's all going back to that idea of pushing the pawn to c3, keeping the king on the back rank, and white has to sacrifice their queen to delay checkmate. I totally missed this. Like, I should have had that on my radar, but I'd reject this because I'm like, okay, queen takes, and he just has to trade queens. I just have to trade queens with him, and I don't want to do that. So, rook e7, I thought I was winning here. I got really excited. I played the move queen a3, and you guys can see the engine going back to white's favor. I'm like, okay, how is white going to stop checkmate? They basically have to take my pawn, right? I'm like, okay, I got a rook. Up a rook. Like, let's go. I found a way to win material when I was otherwise lost. But then, Prescott told me he was just really lucky to have this for him to have this resource. He played the move queen a5 check, and all my hope and all my glee and all my euphoria just went down the drain, because this move not only forks the king and the rook, it takes the rook with check, and then he takes my other rook, and I have to trade queens because my queen is, trapped on a3, and I'm like, how did I do that? I was better. Oh, that painful feeling when you're winning and then you throw it. That is one of the worst feelings to have in chess. So, yeah, after queen takes e7, I resigned the game because, well, there's nothing to play for. White's just up an overwhelming amount of material. And, the accuracy wasn't great either. 78.3 and 69.8. So, a very chaotic game for both players. In fact, I thought he played like an engine. Not so. We were both playing pretty questionable moves. So, and the fact that he's much lower rated than me is another drawback. So, we start the tournament off on a bad note, and hopefully I was hoping that I would do better in the next games, which isn't exactly the case. But anyway, I'll mention those in the future recaps. So, without further ado, I'm just going to say thank you guys for watching. Let me know any thoughts you had on this game, any comments. Please don't forget to smash that subscribe button below. And until next time, bye.